Maul may have escaped his fight with me, but I still dominated him with one hand. And if he comes back with his apprentice, I will still destroy him. And also, Dave Filoni and Sam Witwer should be running Star Wars. The Force is with them.
Late? For what? The Republic to fall? It already has, and you just can't see it. There is no justice, no law, no order, except for the one that will replace it.
Hello there, guys. Darth Christensen here. Welcome back to another video. Happy May the 4th, and wow. Just wow. My mind is blown right now. After that finale, I think Maul Shadow Lord is actually up there with the Clone Wars as some of the best animated Star Wars media in history. And I think this finale, he basically just solidified that, and it made my dreams as a Star Wars fan come true. Because everyone watching this right now probably already seen it. The way that Vader just came in was just absolutely brilliant. I actually think this is the scariest we've seen Vader since Jedi Fallen Order. With the way that he was just absolutely manhandling Maul and old Devon and Daki with one hand, and it was just insane. Like the lightsaber fights, I've already said that the lightsaber fights were top tier in this show, but they just took it to another level. And I love the attention to detail of how like Vader was fighting with one hand, so he's basically like toying with them, but he still fucking annihilated Maul and Daki in the same fight. And we finally, at long last, got Vader versus Maul. I'm so happy right now. Oh my god, it's so good. Yeah, when Vader and Maul cross blades with each other, I legit was starting to tear up a bit. I was actually about to fucking nut. That was so awesome. Because as if you guys have been following this channel for a long time, and even before her Shadow Lord was even announced, I always held on to the theory that Maul got into a big fight with Vader because of what he said in Rebels with the way that he couldn't defeat Vader alone. And he also saw visions of the future of Anakin becoming Palpatine's apprentice. So it's a bit unclear if he actually knows that's Anakin under the helmet, but there was a moment in Episode 8 when Devon and Daki were hiding in the temple, and he was like, no, it can't be. So I think that maybe that's Maul like putting two and two together that Vader is the one who replaced him, and he's way above the Inquisitors in terms of power, like way above them, not even close. Maul did pretty decent. Maul did pretty decent in the fight, but Vader still absolutely annihilated him. So they portrayed him absolutely perfectly. And I love how Vader also, he was completely silent through the entire fight. Like I was speculating and guessing if they were gonna use that same AI that James Earl Jones gave his voiceover to before he died, like they did in the Kenobi show, or if they would bring back some of the voice actors that played him in the games. But the fact that Vader didn't say a single word and he was still that terrifying, it made me cry. It was so beautifully done. And also his entrance gave me full fucking body chills like he always does. As Vader's just been like the master of ore farming entrances ever since he was first introduced in 1977. Especially in this show, with the way that he like dragged Rook Cast into the fog and choked her to death, and then he just like came out of the fog and ignited his lightsaber going straight for Maul, and the Jedi was just insane to see. I actually think Maul versus... Now it all makes sense, and it's tying everything back together. Like I said earlier with Maul being scared of Vader, now it makes perfect sense because Vader just absolutely destroyed him in a lightsaber fight, and even cut and damaged his legs twice throughout the entire fight. But Maul still did pretty decent. He did a lot better than Daki did, and it's also insane how Vader killing Daki was the last thing that finally pushed Devon over the edge to finally join Maul and become his apprentice. And I think that, and I'm very excited to see how that plays into season 2, because it's now that Maul and both Maul and Devon are now in league with Crimson Dawn. I think they're probably going to have a shared goal of revenge towards Vader, because obviously Maul already knew about Anakin being the chosen one, and he's probably going to be really pissed off when he finds out that that Vader was his replacement that Sidious gave him, and then of course there's Devon being really pissed off at Vader, for killing Daki. Daki is definitely a big reason for her to actually fully give into the dark side. So I'm wondering if Maul's probably gonna bestow the title of Talon upon on Devon, and we're going to actually see her dark side training being completed in season 2. I think it's pretty much just guaranteed at this point. And I'm wondering if this isn't going to be the only time that Vader and Maul fight, right? Because it was awesome, but Maul also but Maul was also heavily injured, so it gave Vader more of a bigger advantage. But even if Maul's legs were intact, Vader still would have destroyed him because he's a better lightsaber duelist, and he's also more powerful in the Force due to being the chosen one. And I also love how Vader just barely even broke a sweat. Even when Daki just hit him on the shoulder, it only just pissed Vader off even more because you can tell by his sped up breathing that he was just going all out on Daki. It reminds me a lot of when Luke tapped Vader on the shoulder in Empire Strikes Back, but then it only just made him more mad and channel his rage even more. So the fact that we finally at long last got Maul versus Vader, that alone enough is for me to that in and of itself puts both of these episodes on the same level as the Clone Wars in terms of peakness. And it's pretty ironic too, because towards the beginning of episode 9, Maul was pretty much the badass that we already knew him, because with the way that he sliced that ATST in half, like Starkiller did in the Force Unleashed games. And it was also awesome when he was dual wielding while fighting both Marok and the Crow. Oh, that was definitely Starkiller or slash Ahsoka coded, with the way that he was doing the reverse grip with his lightsabers. He was just dominating that fight. But then when Vader shows up, Maul just stands absolutely no chance, and he gets obliterated in the fight. So this makes me think that because Shadow Lord takes place a year after the end of Revenge of the Sith, and there's still a big 8-year gap between in this and where we see Maul in Solo, I think that there is a chance that Maul and Vader could fight again, and after Devon fully becomes his apprentice, maybe Vader will actually kill Devon, and that will be the final thing that makes Maul go into hiding on Malachor, and we see him in Star Wars Rebels. So that would just be a crazy way to do it, because I'm already mind blown by Maul and Vader's fight in season 1, but if they fight again in season 2, that would just be next level. So as you can tell, these episodes were just absolutely incredible. And as a huge Vader fanboy, they portrayed him perfectly. And Vader in this animation just looks super sexy. I'm not even lying. I mean, I love Vader's design at the end of the Clone Wars season 7 and Tales of the Empire, but I love that now they're putting Vader to good use, and in certain shots he looks borderline live action with how gorgeously realistic the animation looks, and the way that it just reflects off of Vader's armor. It was just so awesome to see that. So I can just go on and on about how badass Vader was in these last 2 episodes. It just made me super happy as a big Star Wars fan. And even besides that, and I also love the connections to Solo, with the way that Dryden Vos showed up, and he escorted Maul and Devon off the planet at the last second. So this definitely makes me think that season 2 will focus on Maul getting more involved in Crimson Dawn territory, and maybe it will actually show Maul taking over Crimson Dawn while still working with Dryden Vos. And if we want to do more Solo tie-ins, then I think that Qi'ra should also make an appearance in season 2, and they can bring back Emilia Clarke to voice her. That would be a really sick way to do it. And I think that Solo is an underrated movie, so I'm glad that they're finally giving payoff to that. So, dude, I'm just blown away, dude. Maul Shadow Lord has just been absolutely excellent all throughout its entire run. I've had so much fun talking about this show every week, and breaking down all my theories about it, and it's just a really good time to be a Star Wars fan. And the fact that it finally ended with Maul fighting Vader on May the 4th too was just the cherry on top. So Dave Filoni and Sam Witwer did an absolutely phenomenal job with this show, and it's everything I ever wanted. They pretty much nailed every single detail that I wanted with it. The way that it dived deeper into Maul's character, made you feel even more sorry for him. It had top tier lightsaber fights. It had his deep dives in both Jedi and Sith philosophy, and it gave us some new characters. Which, by the way, I'm really upset that Spybot got killed, dude. I fucking hate Marok now after he cut Spybot in half. That made me so sad. But yeah, other than that, the finale of this episode the finale of Shadow Lord was an absolute masterpiece, and I really hope that we can see more of Vader like this. We can see more of Vader like this in future projects. Maybe if he shows up again in Shadow Lord Season 2, but or with the way that they just really just went ham and with Vader in these episodes, was basically making him look like a horror villain. This honestly makes me want an R-rated Darth Vader movie. It could be either live action or animated, but they could do something. They could do like this short little one-off story where Vader's just like going around hunting, obliterating Jedi, and he's doing it in the scariest way possible. That I think would be on the same level of amazingness as this is. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and it's been such an amazing long journey talking about Maul Shadow Lord all throughout season 1, and I can't wait. And I can't wait for season 2 to come out soon. And they set up a lot of really cool stuff. They set up a lot of really cool stuff with the way it's going, with the way that Maul and Devon are now part of Crimson Dawn, and it's going to tie into Solo, and it's going to start tying into Solo. I also wonder if Maul's going to get hit new with cybernetic legs after they got cut over and over again by the Inquisitors and Vader. I wonder if Maul's going to get his legs repaired and get hit a brand new pair, because the legs that he had in Solo looked pretty different from the ones that he had in the Clone Wars and in this show. I really hope that Shadow Lord Season 2 comes out next year. So obviously, I'm sad that Season 1's over, but at the same time, I'm just like really happy and fulfilled right now as a Star Wars fan to see that they established and nailed every single last detail of the show. And I think I can just go on and on for hours about how good it is. And like I just said, my fanboy dreams are fulfilled, and this is now one of my top 5 favorite Star Wars shows for sure. But yeah, thank you guys so much for supporting me along the way talking about this show. And here's to a great rest of the year for Star Wars, and here's hoping that Shadow Lord Season 2 comes out next year as well. Have a great rest of your day, and may the 4th be with you, always.
Maul versus Vader is real!
The one we've been looking for.
How do you know this?
He knows the ways of the Force. He's been trained to use the dark side.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.